What's going on, y'all? It's your boy So. Welcome back to another dope episode of Sports with So. If you haven't already, make sure you help us on our way to 500 subscribers on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment on our latest video, Week Fans Only. OnlyFans Week 15. That's the one.
Yeah,
that's why he's here, ladies and gentlemen.
That's why I'm here. And also, shout out to everybody that has already subscribed.
Facts.
Thank you guys so much. You know that means the world to us. We just want to share this content. You know, we were passionate about our sports down here. You know what I mean? Our South Florida sports. And, you know, we've been on a mission, and we have you guys supporting us. So we appreciate that. But be a friend, tell a friend, tell them to subscribe. It helps us out on this journey. What's going on, So?
A lot, man. We've been busy, right? We've been busy.
End of the year will do that to you, dog.
End of the year, got a lot of stuff going on. Getting ready for 2023, right? We got a lot of stuff.
It's going to be a crazy next couple of weeks here.
And then on top of all of that, you're riding the emotional roller coaster of what it is to be a Miami sports fan right now. You know what I mean? Like we look at our team and it's like, oh man, what's going on? You know, because all three of them at this very point look very different than what we're accustomed to seeing these teams, right? Or what we got used to.
For good or for bad,
right? No, right? Mostly good in some cases with the Dolphins, but for the other teams, it's been mostly bad. And if we start with the Dolphins, right? You know, you got to look at the season in pieces. And when you look at the season in pieces, it's like, man, we've been really good at times, right? On one side of the football or the other, whether it's defense or offense. And then there have been other times of the season where we've been really bad on either side of the ball. And that's been a telltale sign of how this season has gone. You know, you look at some of the scores, you look at some of the results that we've had. You and I were talking earlier about some of the games that we're going to look back on after the season is over and be like, yo, you know, maybe that game would have made the difference in our season. Maybe we get an extra position or some shit like that.
Sure.
And then, you know, just riding the wave, you know, of what it is to be a Dolphins fan right now. We go up to Buffalo. We have a hell of a game, right? We see a performance, and we don't really get crazy, right? But we're in the game, snowing and all this stuff.
Hey, well, it didn't start snowing until 10 minutes left in the game.
True.
The whole game was nice. It was good, you know, nice weather. Cold, granted, you know, there was definitely cold. Which, dog, did you see those Buffalo fans, the ones that were shirtless, bro?
Wild. And they're out there like that every week.
Right, which is like mind-boggling. But like, I was looking at that. I'm like, you see, that's why like you'll never catch one of us. Like we ain't that stupid. Miami fans are normally like, you know, we're warm-blooded. You know what I mean?
Right.
We got to be somewhere warm. So you won't catch us out there with our shirt off, but
not me. I'm too skinny for that shit.
But yeah, the weather didn't really come into play till the last quarter and the last 10 minutes at that. And True. I really don't think that it had that much of an effect because it wasn't the reason we couldn't keep that last drive alive. In my opinion, wasn't because of the weather. It was because of the play calls.
Correct. And
on one possession, like one part of that possession, really.
Yeah, and if you look at it, that's ultimately what led us to lose the game, 32-29, right? Because fourth quarter starts, we're up 8, right? Opportunities are there to be had, and we have inconsistent drives, players dropping balls, and just ultimately leaving the door open for a team like Buffalo who can do that on any team, right? Especially versus the third worst defense in the NFL. They're going to be able to do that and come back, and they did, you know? And then we end up losing the game by 3 points when we left ourselves a good, 10, 17 points, 13 points out there on the field. Kind of hard to take this loss, but when you look at it as a whole, kind of like what we talked about on OnlyFans, right? Go check that out if you haven't already. Hit that like button. You know, we talked about how you look at this game and you're like, man, there's some positives to take away from it, but the negatives that we look at or that we have, right, are real glaring negatives, you know? We lose 32-29. Tua has a good game. Not necessarily a great game, but he definitely didn't have a bad game. But the defense just didn't do enough, right? Like I said, we had that 8-point lead going into the fourth quarter or starting the fourth quarter, and then getting a stop on their first possession of the fourth quarter, right? It's like, okay, we got to build some momentum off of this, and we couldn't for whatever reason. You know, I got to give a special shout out to Raheem Mostert. First of all, for having a tremendous day in the backfield, actually doing everything that he could do with the 17 carries that he got. Amazingly, he went over 100 yards. First running back to go over 100 yards in the first quarter in like 30 seasons.
That's nuts.
which is wild. And then we go away from that guy, which is the crazy part to me, because like that just shows the inexperience that Mike McDaniel has sometimes of trusting Tua too much and saying, yeah, go out there and make the throws to win us the game. Which, again, Tua did for the most part. He didn't make bad throws in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. Crunch time, right? Those clutch moments. He didn't play bad. But we saw drops. We saw whack play calling. We saw, inconsistency on the offense. We saw Tyreek Hill drop passes, run routes that looked a little off, which was strange because he's probably been our most consistent player the entire season, right? Where even when things are going great, even when things are going bad, Tyreek Hill has always been there. And this was a game that I thought he would be the X factor, and he really wasn't. He had that touchdown drop in the first quarter, which kind of killed us. And then back right after that, Sherfield dropped his touchdown catch. And then we end up having to settle for 3 points when we could have gotten the touchdown and really changed the dynamic of that game.
That Sherfield one hurts, man, because Tua could not have thrown a better ball than he did in
the pocket.
In that moment right there, and he just straight up dropped it, man. But, I mean, on Tyreek, yeah, it wasn't his best performance. He still made plays down the stretch that we needed him to, catches. He started off shaky, which is not like Tyreek, but he made the plays that were necessary. And he actually owned up to it. He said himself that he didn't have a good performance.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he tweeted it after the game. I will never play like that again, Fins. Talking to Fins Nation, Bad performance for myself last night. I'll be better. Peace sign.
Yeah, that's awareness.
But it's awareness that he recognizes we lost an opportunity there. You feel me? And we talked about it last week, how this game was not necessarily a must win for the sake of the season. It was a must win for the sake of our momentum. A must win for the sake of our belief that we're good enough, right? That we can beat teams under harsh conditions on the road no matter what. I'm not saying that we can't, but having lost this game just keeps that question open. Like, damn, because now we have to wait to see it in the playoffs, right? Because going into New England, it's going to be a hard game. But if we play like we did on Sunday, we're going to smash the Patriots, right? They've had inconsistencies with their offense.
The Patriots have their own issues.
They have their own issues.
Luckily for us, both the Jets and the Patriots lost this weekend.
Correct.
I don't know if you saw, I'm sorry to sidetrack this here, but I have to bring it to.
Bring it up. Go ahead.
Did you see how the Patriots
I did.
lost?
Tell everybody what happened on that play right there.
Well, so for those of you that didn't watch the game, on the last play of the game, they're tied up. Bill Belichick is thinking, let's just run the ball. We're going to take this to OT. We're going to win this in OT. They ran the ball with Ramondre Stevenson, who ended up getting deep into the secondary, made a big play. And I guess he realized, like, oh, shit, they didn't think I was going to get this far ahead.
Right.
And said, you know what, let's see, maybe we can win it right here. Made one pass back to Jacoby Myers. And Jacoby Myers, I guess in that moment, just had a lapse in judgment and just thought he needed to make another pass to win the game.
Go down, guy.
Threw the ball all the way back across his body, across the field.
To Mac Jones.
Who was the last player available. Mac Jones gets leveled. No. First, Chandler Jones
catches it,
intercepts it, disgusting, right. And then trucks Mac Jones on his way to the end zone for the walk-off touchdown.
Stiff arm, right? Because he pushed him down almost, dog. And then you see that photo on ESPN of like Mac Jones getting smushed, basically. It was like, oh, man. But I'm sure, I was telling the guys at the barbershop tonight, Madison, for fact, shout out to Jonathan at Goodfellas and Javi at Goodfellas, and Eric too, dog. Those are all the homies. And I was telling my barber, I'm like, yo, this dude, Mac Jones, is never, ever going to live that photo down. Because, like, if Mark Sanchez never got to live down the butt fumble, right? Like, this dude is never going to live, like, being stiff down on a play. And what the hell was that player even thinking, throwing it back to Mac Jones, dog? Because Mac Jones clearly was not expecting the ball, dog. You know what I mean? So, he didn't even fight for it.
No. But that will get, I mean, people will always talk about this, kind of like the Jadeveon Clowney, whenever that play that it shouldn't have been called the first down, and they called it a first down. Very next play, he rocks the guy and picks up the ball. Like that, certain play that you're going to remember because the defensive player, Chandler Jones, made a hell of a play there. Mac Jones had he was a victim.
Had no business.
He was a victim there, so you can't blame that guy. Nah. But anyways, Patriots got their own problems, and I know we got them to face. So here's the reality.
Well, we got Green Bay to face first, but still, that's our road game.
We got 3 games left in the season. we're 8-6 right now, 7th place in the AFC. Period.
Correct.
So we're behind right now, Baltimore and Los Angeles, who we just lost to a couple weeks ago, and we have 3 games remaining. 2 of them being division rivals that are also in the hunt for that wild card spot. But both of them just lost this weekend.
Yes.
So like I look at that and I'm like, all right, we definitely can beat both these teams, the Jets and the Patriots. How do I know? Well, because New England, we've beat them this year already, and like I said, they're having their own issues. I think we are a far better team. And then on the New York Jets side, redemption is the reason. That's the most important game of the season, and more than likely will be. Yeah. We're going to absolutely need to win that game. But before we get to that, this Christmas, there's 3 games maybe on Christmas Day. Dolphins are one of them against the Packers at home. This is the season right here, really. This is where it starts. This is a must win if we've ever had one this season.
For sure, because we got to stop the losing streak, right? There's no way you want to go into the playoffs having lost 4 out of your last 7 games.
It might not even be into the playoffs.
Might not even get in there. You know what I mean? So, you definitely want to stop that. But more importantly, what you want to do is see these guys continue to raise the level of their playing style right now, right? Whatever their playing performance is, they need to turn it up a notch and really get ready for the hard road that's ahead of them. Because, we look at the schedule and it's easy to say, well, the Packers suck this year. You know what I mean? We can beat the Patriots, beat them this year. They're having those issues, and the Jets don't know what to do at quarterback, right? You look at that stuff on the schedule and it's easy to say, we can win these games. But this is something that we haven't seen from the Dolphins in any year with any quarterback, with any coach. Where when it comes down to it, when it comes down to the games that we must win in order to solidify our playoff standing, really put ourselves ahead of the curve, right? Ahead of the rest of the pack. Can we win these games when they matter, dog? Because if we lose 2 out of these 3 games, you know what we're going to be saying at the end of the season, Joel? Same old Dolphins. Same old Dolphins. Leaving a bunch of games on the schedule, losing to teams that we shouldn't have lost, that ends up costing us not only in our division, but for the playoff picture. Because we know that this team is talented. Because Mike McDaniel was brought here to specialize from taking this team from this level to this next level. Hey, I'm an offensive line guru. Hey, I'm good at zone blocking. And we haven't really seen it until this game, where he was forced to run because of the conditions and having to game plan for this team that was, right, open to being ran on. And not even really open to being ran on, because before Saturday's game, that rushing defense for Buffalo Bills was 4th in the NFL. So we went out there and did something impressive. We had a guy go over 100 yards. They don't even average 100 yards given up on the ground. We needed that game to show ourselves we belong. We can win these games that are tough. We can win these games that a team like Buffalo wins, Kansas City wins on the road, that Cincinnati was winning last year when they were on their run. We're waiting to see that. We're waiting to see that, because even though as excited as we've been and we credited the success that this team has had already this season to look like something amazing, we still need to see them do it when it counts, when it matters, when we want them to do it. This game against the Packers is one of them. Go out there and win at home, because you need it. You need to look good.
So what are you expecting for this game against the Packers in particular in order for us to get the dub?
For me, it really starts and ends with the running game, because we have to get better at controlling the pace of the play, the pace of the game, how much time of possession we have, how many plays we can run.
We improved from the loss of the Chargers. We had the ball 1/3 of the time.
True.
And we improved this last game. We had the ball half the time. But the most important 6 minutes of the game were the last 6 minutes of the game.
Correct.
And that's where Buffalo solely controlled the clock and the ball. And that's where we lost the game.
Yeah, and you ask me, what are the aspects that we need to do, or what needs to change for us to win this game against the Packers? We need to run on these guys. They're not great at that. They're not great at defense, period. We need to run and show them we can run, control the ball, control the time of possession, let Tua get into a rhythm. Hey, so actually bring in the defense and the safeties and allow them to creep up, and then we can go over the top, like we were doing earlier on in the season. But without that running game, We're forcing Tua. Not allowing him. We're forcing Tua to go out there and win the game. We're forcing Tua to go out there and make 40 throws, 50 throws. And that's the shit that kills us because it's harder to be that accurate when you're having to do it that many times. Run the ball. If we run the ball like we did and Mostert gets his carries and even Ahmed coming out of nowhere, right, and having really good runs that game, run the ball. Let's see if we can build some success doing that. We know we got the passing game on lock. We know that. So in order to beat the Packers, we got to first run the ball because then that'll open up Tua to throw and actually give him time to throw. That's one thing that I noticed major in the game against the Bills. Josh Allen had 2 seconds to throw the ball. Tua had a second and a half, maybe half a second to a second to throw the ball.
Talking about average, or you're just talking about your own estimate?
Average. Just me looking, right? Because I'm watching.
I would didisagree. I would say Josh Allen had 8 seconds to throw the ball.
But no, when you average it out, right? Like every time he's snapping back, it's 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, and he's throwing the ball.
If I'm averaging Josh Allen's time to throw the ball, I'm still going to put it at 4.
Yeah, okay.
Because, bro, like,
but he's getting rid of it.
It felt like there was so much, like, our D-line would, like, smash and, like, just get in there.
Right.
And just collapse the pocket, and he was like, whatever, bro, I'm out of here. And, like, just make a move, make a play, a pass. Like, that guy's a magician, bro. Like, we saw prime Josh Allen on Sunday night, and he only beat us by 3 points.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
To me, that's reassuring, you know, we can, again, Tua, you know, maybe it's on them. Maybe we go and we score on the last 6 minutes or so. Maybe not the last 6 minutes, but we continue driving and we score with 2 minutes left. Let's say we make a hell of a drive. And then Josh Allen has a 2-minute clock, and then he comes down anyways, and he comes down and he scores with 2 minutes left. You never know, man. They're a great team, and there's a lot of credit. I was looking at a tagline that said that Colin Cowherd called this Dolphins loss one of the most impressive losses of the year. I don't know if he means that in the sense of, I haven't read the article or heard the interview, but I don't know if he means that in the sense of across the NFL. But for the Dolphins, it absolutely means that. We have 6 losses on the season. This is the one loss where we looked at it and we were like, damn, we really competed to the end in this game.
Okay, so it's a loss that you take in stride. But what the fuck does that do? You know what I mean? Like, again, it's what I was talking about earlier, Joel. We've seen this Dolphins team, right, get really close and lose tight games. That we look good in this game doing it, all right, that's cool because we haven't seen us look good in all 3 aspects and still lose a game, right? A close game, on the road, under harsh conditions. Very impressive how we played. I'm not knocking that. But at the end of the day, we still lost. You know, it didn't work out for us because we still lost. So I get it that we can take away positives, take away a lot of things that we did well or that we can feel good about. But at the end of the day, for this team to have that real success that we as Dolphins fans are looking for, they need to win games and impress into the playoffs. You can't stumble into the playoffs. We've talked about that before. You got to go out there and win into the playoffs, you know. And I'll give them credit for how they lost because they played well. That's the thing. We saw these guys play well and lose. We've seen these guys play like shit and lose, and that's been more upsetting, right? But when you see the team play this well and lose, it's like, all right, cool. We're almost there. Mm-hmm. We're almost there. I get that. And I'm not going to say that I'm okay with that because I've told you at the beginning of the season, these guys need to prove it to me. Go out there and win big games. Go out there and have a winning streak into the playoffs. This is a perfect opportunity to do that. If they do that, then I'll believe more in this team and saying, all right, we've achieved that next level where we can win important games at the end of the season. Check. Now, the next level after that is win a playoff game, right? And that's the progression that this team shows that they're heading. So that's why I'm not like, you know, not too bought in, but I'm also not like too completely on the far edge as well. You know, I'm kind of in the middle of where we're at right now. I want to see how we do these last 3 games.
If you're on the edge like so, or you're definitely already saying, forget it, the Dolphins are the same old Finns. They're not going to do anything this year that's worthy of our, you know, time and attention. I say stick with us.
Yeah.
One more game against the Packers. You're going to see we deliver the performance we just did against the Bills. The Packers don't have enough to keep up with us at home.
Hell no.
I'm sorry.
They don't.
We need to get that one. However, we don't get that victory. Even if we play well and we lose, it's not as good of an argument. The Bills is a phenomenal team. At the beginning of the year, they were leading for the Super Bowl, you know, as far as the favorites.
True.
So it's like, that's why, you know, you got to take everything in context. With the Packers, we lose to them in a close game. Still sucks. That really does sting, because then that really kills our playoff chances
Yeah.
to a team that we should be definitely beating. So it starts this Sunday on Christmas Day. We're going to give them a little gift wrapped up with a bow on it. It's going to be a giant L.
It'll be a giant L, no doubt. And it'll be a tough matchup because Rodgers is really starting to link up with like a coming up wide receiver.
Christian Watson.
Balling, leading the team with 7 touchdowns, has 400 yards on the season.
Yeah, those 7 touchdowns are in the last 4 games too.
Balling, right? So that's the one weapon that they have and they rely on.
Yeah.
Our defense should be good enough to take that away. We already came out as a 5.5 favorite on this game, so I'm expecting the Dolphins to have an impressive victory. And this is a need to win game, must win game, call it whatever you want, but this is the game that is going to ultimately decide where you end up in the playoffs. So if the Dolphins are really real, they'll win this game impressive. I believe that they're really real. I believe that they're going to go out there that Christmas Day game and really show that they're really for real, that Mike McDaniel is for real, that Tua is for real, that the offense is for real. That's what I'm expecting to see on that game. If I don't get it, just know that this next episode, Papa, is going to be rough. I got the Dolphins winning 28-14.
I like that, but I got the Dolphins winning 37-17.
Why so high, dog?
Because I believe in this team. We just put up 28 against the Bills, dog. 28 points against the Bills on the road. When we're clicking, when we're firing, we can put up points against teams. We should put up points against teams. This is a game where am I getting points from? You want me to call it right now? Defensive touchdown. Definitely a must, man. We need a turnover. We need a big turnover.
That's a fact.
And where am I counting on that from? I don't want to call it. I'm going to call them out, though, man. I'm going to call them out.
Call them out.
2-5.
Call them out.
Talking to you, 2-5.
Making that bread.
Yo, X, you got paid, homie. I vouched for you. I said you need to get paid. But now on this Sunday, when we need it most, guess what I need? Pick six.
And he got mossed against the Bills.
Pick six.
Hey.
Pick six on Rodgers, on one of the greatest. That's what we need. You do that, we're winning this game.
What did you text me against that Bills game when we were talking about the defensive backs? When Holland went out. You said, damn, dog, we're gonna need him.
We're soft right now. We don't have depth. We don't have a lot of guys out there that can play. And Xavier Howard is looking soft. He's been getting moss. He's been getting routes ran on him like crazy. I'm sure if we look at deep into the stats, there might be an argument to say, no, but he's got this. Bro, I'm looking at what I'm talking about what I'm seeing Sunday to Sunday compared to what he's done over the last 3 years.
Top to bottom, I said it before, we have some really good individuals that are keeping this defense from being worse than they are. We have really strong individuals. You know who they are. Wilkins, Phillips, been balling, right? Baker's been playing amazing. We've seen Ingram having an impact. Chubb having an impact.
Chubb's not doing enough for me.
Not enough. He's still getting accustomed.
I'm being honest.
But let me tell you something on that point, because I heard somebody say something on the radio this morning. Dog, what do you expect from a guy coming in 10 games, 7 games into the season?
Pressure.
Yeah, but that's
You're
what he's doing.
You're a pass rusher. That's your specialty.
But you know what?
Get to the quarterback more.
He's being outshined by the guy who's been here longer that knows more. And that's Phillips. So it's easy
and Wilkins.
What I'm saying is that it's easy to burn Chubbs because Wilkins and Phillips are balling, beasting, no matter what. Those guys are the future, right? Chubb has to catch up to them, no doubt. But those guys have the advantage of being here and having that rhythm. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I think he's a veteran. He's been in this league already a while, 3-4 years, even though he's dealt with a couple injuries. He has as much playtime as Christian Wilkins. You got the big payday, big guy. This is what we need you to do, bro. We need you to apply that pressure. Ball out. We need you to get sacks. Wilkins is there. He's doing it. He's getting through. He's penetrating.
He's killing.
He's stopping runs dead before they start. We know what Phillips is doing. You don't give up on a play. He's making plays all over the field.
That guy.
We need you to do your job. We know what you can do. That's why we brought you here. We just need you to do that.
And we
just need you to do your job, doggy. So
yeah,
Sunday, man, it's going down.
I got to give a special shout out to having the most votes for All Pro, over 300,000 votes.
All Pro or for the Pro Bowl?
For the Pro Bowl, same shit. All Pro, you know.
Nah, it's different. There's those different accolades.
The Pro Bowler.
But that's big. I mean, hell huge. Yeah. He beat Tyreek, right?
Yep. Tyreek was second with 293,000 votes. But yeah, man, just shows you how much people respect what Tua is accomplishing this season, man, and he deserves that. Let's get this win, bro. Let's get this win.
It's a must.
It's a must.